are doing here is what I call advances in AI, and I am really grateful to you for coming, because not because it's clicks. No, it's because you force me, and no excuse. You force me to learn. You force me to find what new things are. Now, what we're doing is advances in AI, meaning all kinds of technologies that are interesting to the developer. So I am a developer, and I assume you're also interested in that. So it's right here. Today is January 30, and we're going to talk about a few things. So first of all, we have a challenge. We'll talk about that because that were a few weeks, maybe 2, 3 weeks ago, when you suggested, Mark, give us something to do. Okay, and I tried the first thing. I gave you a virtual machine where you could do that lab. That I think didn't quite work out. So I gave you an interesting proof that square root of 2 right here is not a rational number. Now, that means you cannot represent it as, some kind of 5 over 3. It would be close, but not exact. You cannot explain it as a rational number, as a one number divided by the other, which caused a big catastrophe in the philosophy at a certain point when mathematicians were doing philosophy. So we'll do that, because today we'll go a little bit further. We'll do a square root of 3. What was interesting the very first time is that I gave you a geometrical proof. There is an extremely simple and nice picture which shows you why it's true. Now we'll do the same with square root of 3 and see if there is a picture that way. Then I will look at some news, and then I will show you a couple courses, couple new courses. That's what I'm planning to do. And please comment as we go. Once in a while I'll be looking at the comments. But number one, first I promised, let's warm up our mind. The proof is coming. First of all, it's from this book. So that's a mathematician, and my wife once pushed me to listen to his lecture, and that was what he was talking about. But after that, I really liked his style. So what you are looking at is, sorry for all this mess going up and down, but what you are looking at is Kindle. So I ordered a paper book, but it's amazing. It's a long time in coming. So that's where I have my inspiration, but then I worked on the problem myself. That's number one. So what's the solution? Is there a geometrical proof that the square root of 3 is not a rational number? Yes, there is one right here. So if you remember, the way you did it was first give me a proof in numbers, like that, something like if you can divide it will be p square over q square. That's what it should be 2. I'm proving it's not possible. The way I prove it is by saying, okay, maybe it is possible. I'll find the smallest q and p and divide it by 2 to the end, and in the end you will have something that's even divided by odd, and that doesn't work. That was the proof. Now if you have the proof, I'll go to chat. So if you have the proof, if you have the proof that square root of 2 is not a rational number, then give it me. Okay, but that was last time. I showed you the geometrical proof. It's right here. It's very beautiful. Now, there is the same thing for the 3, square root of 3. So again, I'm pausing a little bit, and I'm asking you if you have a square root of 3 and not a rational number, not a rational number, then show me the proof. You can answer on the chat. But if not, I'll go on, continue going down, and I will show. First of all, you can use the same mathematical trick. You can say that, okay, P over Q, better yet, p to p squared over q squared doesn't equal 3. That is essentially the problem. So just imagine that there are such numbers, p and q, that p squared over q squared is 3, and you will divide them by 3 to no end until you see that it doesn't divide anymore because 3 is a prime number. That's why it works. But again, that is too abstract. Here is a geometrical proof provided, as you can see by chat right here, and it's beautiful. You see, instead of doing squares as you saw those squares, you can divide in a proportion of 3, not 2, and divide it to no end. The same idea can be done uh, with the number 3, but the most important thing is that it's not intuitive. Okay, you can do it. It looks like a picture. If you're very interested in a picture, here's a picture, but it doesn't explain anything. So my next question is there a proof? Is there a proof that elucidates it better? So that, why do you need the picture? So that it will be immediately obvious. And we need those things. We need some immediate, obvious things. Okay, so I'll leave you with that. I don't see, don't now. I see what you're doing, uh, suggesting maybe that there isn't better proof. Okay, but no reaction. Okay, anyway, I'm going to continue, and we're going to be right here. And we will be looking at 2 more courses. So one more course will be how to build agentic systems, now this time with Anthropic. I already showed you well how I work with anti-gravity by Google, and I follow the opinion of my friends. They love it and I love it too. But this is Anthropic, just as smart as Google, and they show you how you can do it. So we'll look at that course. Now, the next thing that we will do is, it's a different new course. It's from also Andrew Ng, but from not advanced ones, but Coursera. Both of these courses are a set of lectures. What they do is teach you how to do things. That's not a notebook, not a Python notebook. There's not a lab that you can click through. But these are interesting things. So that's what we will do. But before we do this, I want to click on the latest news. Now, the news changed their pattern a little bit. They only come on Fridays, a little bit after our webinar. Before, I could just go to the latest news and talk about them. Now, I can take the latest news last week. Well, okay, so that's what it is. Clicking there and pointing out what's interesting. So number one that's interesting is that Andrew is talking about there are many, many businesses that try to use AI, even pay money, fail, and that's the end of AI. That's unpleasant. So he here, Andrew Ng, he gives a good example of what you can do if you're a bank. I'll try that. I'll try that next week. I'm not joking. We have a little marketing agency and we are going to reach out to, let's start with the banks, and let's explain to them that they were not quite doing it right, but we can help. I'll tell you the results. That's number one. The second news that I found very interesting, and that one we'll cover. We have covered, we'll cover a similar thing, but the next piece of news, the second one, the only one that I will show, is there. That's an amazing thing. So Andrew says that the company revealed, which company? OpenAI, that they have took in, as he says, took in $20 billion. That's a nice number. We'd love to have that kind of income. What's important, however, is that their income is pretty significant. 20 billion is a good number. you wouldn't expect that. Because don't you hear lots of negative that, AI doesn't work, and mostly that just running those machines costs much more than than there's money in the market. Well, it seems like that's completely wrong. There is enough money in the market, and OpenAI is doing exactly that. It's proving the point that there are at least $20 billion a year for them in the market. That's another interesting point of view. So when you see the next journalists saying that winning argument, there's no money in the market and the companies will fail soon, well, that seems to be just garbage. Sorry to say that strong word. Okay, no more news, closing that, but instead, two new interesting courses. Now, let me pause for a little and look at what you are saying here. Okay, you're saying it is encouraging. Okay. And Steve also says maybe we should run a VPN. That's interesting. For ChatGPT in India. We could, Steve, could you get in touch about that idea? Maybe it's a great idea. So just get in touch. You know my email. It's here. Okay. Wow. So all these things are very important. We'll just, email me the idea, email me the comments that are very interesting, and I don't know that. Okay. But now we're going back to the course. Now, the course is, I want you to hear that from the horse's mouth. What I will do is stop share. And then I will share again. But this time I'll share with the sound, so you will hear the sound. And I want them to speak a couple minutes about the course, but then I want to show you what I think about the course. Okay, now you should hear whatever I click on. The course is on deep learning AI. I'm not sure if I have the subscription or no, but I think that is all free. Even each individual course doesn't cost anything. I have at least the subscription to the deep learning AI, and it always works. So I'm clicking there, and I want to show you the very first
and main instructions to teach
introductory
this.
level.
Thank you, Andrew. I'm happy to be back.
Okay,
Welcome to this course on agent skills, built in partnership with Anthropic and taught by returning instructor Ellie Shopik. Skills give Cloud Code and other agents new abilities to carry out tasks. I'm thrilled to have Ellie return to teach this.
Thank you, Andrew. I'm happy to be back and work with you all on this one.
Skills are folders of instructions that extend your agent's capabilities with specialized knowledge. In this course, you learn how skills work, learn best practices for creating them, and build skills for different use cases, including coding and research and data analysis and more.
What's exciting about skills is they're now an open standard, which means they have a standardized format that work with any skills-compatible agent.
So we know what it is about, but we don't quite, because that sounds like a marketing, and it is. No, I want to show you what I think the course really is about, what they teach you. For that, you go back to what we're going to cover, and that link I already gave you on the chat, didn't I? Just in case I didn't, I'm giving it to you again. Chat here. Here it is. Okay, so let's go there. Let's go to our repo where I have that stuff. And our repo is what happens when I go through the course, make sure that the labs run. In that case, there are no labs. So I will just explain what we're going to talk about. That will be the whole approach. The major word here is skills. So what is skills? It's a marketing term just to confuse you better. What they really mean is that you should use their AI and use it for everything. In particular, use it to automate the work that you usually do, and automate it in a smart way. Let's say you usually watch how your marketing campaign is going. So, of course, you open AI and tell it, that's what I'm doing. Do you think it's right? No, it's wrong. And then you're saying, well, I need to do it again. I did it last week. Now I need to do it again. Well, it sounds like, could I automate that? And it will do it for me. And it will provide additional comments. And it will provide additional goals. Okay, that's how you do it. Now, that's the what will go into that. First of all, they will show you why and how you would use it, and I'll show that. And then they will add. So essentially, these skills is a marketing word which simply covers the fact that you are building your own way of work into AI and you call it a skill. Okay? So, what is it? Like this. That's the end result. That's what happens when you use AI, and that you are familiar with. You know how to use AI. But you are imitating yourself on this end of AI. So you're saying, I am attaching my weekly campaign and I want you to help me with that. I'm advertising on Facebook, Google, TikTok, and so on. Help me. Okay, it's going to help you. My only problem is that I wanted to scroll down and it doesn't. So give me a second, please. I will verify why that did not happen. And that also shows you how I really compose that. There you are. Now, 99 continued. That's how I'm composing it. And now I can refresh that and have a complete outline. Okay, that reminds you, you usually do it. That's your regular conversation with the AI. What comes up is that some of your campaigns are doing just great and some are not. Some are red. Well, you do it every week, you get tired, and you want to automate this. Now, of course, that is the Anthropic environment. They use their models. They also use their IDE, integrated development environment. What they are inviting you to do is not only use it for code, but use it for all kind of work to automate everything. And useful results are coming. That's how you do it. It's really that's deep inside. Every skill, every task that you do is called a skill, and then you give it the rules on how to do it. So that's where you add all your regular prompts, and an agent then runs through these prompts, chooses the one which is now just the right one, and therefore you get the marketing analysis. Now, when it is there, your model is there, that it is inside, it knows how to do it. So you have automated essentially your regular work, and in addition, you also use AI to choose which is the next step. And that is the definition of agentic. Agentic is when you do use AI, but you let it decide how to do it. You give it a bunch of rules, and you let it decide how to use these rules and when. And that is a new tool that allows you to automate that so that you don't have to build that agentic, but use it to construct it. Now, another additional enticement that they give you is that they say it's an open source protocol, and other people have also implemented that. For example, Google Gemini has also implemented this. In other words, here's the enticement, right? Do it our way, and it will work with other AIs as well. That's not the first time they do it. You remember that they built a standard called MCP. I think it is with the standard for AIs to interact between each other, and industry accepted it. So they do it again. The end result is that you can let it run on autopilot, and it will analyze your marketing campaigns and do you additional recommendations. I think they also give you the budgets, not just the numbers, but a way to allocate budgets between different campaigns. Well, I think that's very interesting. Okay, let me do this. Let me go to the chat and ask you, what do you think? Okay. Now, I see your comments. I'll copy them. I'll use them to prepare our next week. Okay. I'm not reading them right now, but I see them and I'm grateful for them. The next thing that I want to talk about right here, the next thing is the new course. Okay, another new course. Let me do this. Let me close all the other tabs and instead open this one. Since I'm already sharing it with the sound, you will hear the sound. And let me introduce you to Mr. White and what courses he does. He creates courses that are generating excitement. I think that is his major thing. He is with the Vanderbilt University. He is on a level of being non-technical at all, just showing you what amazing things AI can do. But he's deep enough, so that's useful, not just excitement. Let us start. Let's see the beginning of the chapter that's called Rethinking What is Possible. And again, he will talk about how great it is with AI and how you can use it for everything. Previous examples included making dinner, but that is something more practical. Let's go.
Every day I feel excited because we're at one of those points in human history where something incredible has been happening, but something incredible that we actually are aware of and we're seeing. Now, I want you to imagine at the invention of writing that you were there, that you saw it happening, and you looked around and you started talking to people and said, hey, there's this amazing thing called reading and writing, and you can learn about it and you can start using it. And what the reaction must have been. I wouldn't be surprised if when you went and talked to people that were out farming, they said, so what? What am I going to do with that? Who cares? Why is that valuable to me? And you would have probably heard people that when you talked to them, you said, hey, there's this amazing thing called writing. They would have said, yeah, but all the people that learn that, they start forgetting stuff. They can't memorize epic poems.
Well, it's a long story. There is a link for you here. The link is on our regular board where we decide what we do. Here you are. So it was the next quote by Mr. White, and he teaches, and we have lots of students like that. He just teaches, guys, have you used AI? The first thing that I personally do is teach them one thing, start using it. That's the most important. Then you will start understanding, because if you don't use it, there's very little chance you will really appreciate it. Now, he goes beyond that. He tells you exactly how you need to use it to appreciate it, and it's not coding. Where was coding? Coding was in the previous course by Andrew Ng, where he said, if you never coded before, now is the time. Doesn't matter. You know what you do, you should be coding. Let me mention that. First of all, when people come here, they ask, what should I do? Well, what they should do is click on Learning Path. So you would open this Learning Path, and they don't intersect. These are all different courses. How many? Well, it's about 100 by now. They're not mine. They are from other sources. The last two I showed you were Vanderbilt University and Andrew Ng. And here is one of the recent one, which says code with us, meaning code with Andrew Ng, where he shows how you can build a fun tool that will create birthday cards, and how you never write any code. Instead, you go there, open AI the way he asks you to do, and just start prompting away. So let's do this. I think there is a very interesting thing that he invents over there. Let's open that, and I will show you which interesting thing he invents over there, but we will not start talking. It is here. For everything that he explains here, there is a lab. Okay. In that lab, he has prepared the place. I think I'm not clicking on the right thing, but doesn't matter. In that lab, he shows you how exactly to do it.
So first, a little bit of setup for our modern OCR stack. Matplotlib for plotting, and of course,
No, we don't want anybody to talk. But all the labs there just tell you, do this, and you do this. In this case, it is a notebook. In another case, and I will still try to show you that, this one, I probably clicked on the wrong thing. I think I should have clicked here, okay?
Make it prettier by adding a festive title and colors.
Okay, and that is where he says, now do it. That exercise will be here. Let's go.
Now that you've built a basic birthday card,
right. Let's move a little bit. And there will be a place for you to do it right here. You are a builder now.
If you made it this far, congratulations. Put and a place to,
and so on. That I only mentioned because that's our courses. If you want to learn and have not learned, you just go to the spreadsheet and you find what you would like to learn, and just do it. All of them are just do it. Some of them are you have to understand a little bit. It's, I would say, the new life, new philosophy, where you learn every day, learn something. So let me ask you real quick. Do you learn something every day? I know I sound funny, but do you learn every day? Oh, how many new things do you learn per week? Now, if you ask me that question, I will tell you, look at the outline for today. And the outline for today is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I average 5 a day. How about you? Okay, I'll do this now. I will stop talking, stop bothering you with anything in the screen, stop share, and ask you questions or suggestions. So I'm typing questions or suggestions. And I will put these questions and suggestions on the next week. Okay, so I'm silent for a minute. Okay, that's wonderful. Wonderful suggestions. Let's do this. How do you get a job? It's one question. I'm copying that question. I'm going back to our outline and I'm preparing our next week. I don't want to answer right away because Betty, I prepare. That's what one ancient sage said. When you want to talk, prepare, rehearse, maybe say it a few times. So I will not improvise, but I will put it here. How to get a job. And the other question was, did you go over a requirement document for some code with the tool like anti-gravity? Yes, I kind of did. That I can, at least right now, I can show you a little bit. So I will copy that and I will put it here. And I think that I stopped sharing. So share again. To just prove the point that I'm preparing for the next time. And I will show you how I use anti-gravity. So it is installed somehow. I don't know how the magic works, but if I just type anti-gravity, then it will start. So let's watch. Anti-gravity remembers where I was the last time. That's where I was the last time, and it can give me the last projects. I can open another project, but I have opened exactly on the right project. So that's fine. What I will do is this. This is where you talk to it. So, how are you today? That's where you talk. And then you tell it, well, you have all my code, right? My project is a review part of the processing system, the review part of read. So I can give you a task and can expect you to find my bug. That's what I usually do. And just 2 days ago, I was successful in fixing the bug that I didn't know how to understand. It really understood my problem and fixed it. I was giving it pictures. I was showing you what doesn't work. Why is it a great thing for me? It's because this is a browser-based application. I'm not very strong at browser-based applications. I'm stronger in the back-end, very big scalable systems. That's my favorite. And that I do in a different ID. But this one just really understood what I don't know. Okay, so let me try to run the project, which I do by standard. Oh, I tried to do it as a command in IntelliJ. It should have left at me. I can say run the project. Let's see. Usually say run the project. Let's see if it figures out how to run that project. You see, it is figuring it out. So no requirements. I just opened to the project. It expects me to be reasonable. So it asks, can I please run that command? I say yes. It didn't wait for me, by the way. And no requirements. Instead, you start talking to it. It found the POM. It knows what the project is about. It also looks at the documentation. So just like a person, but fast, I would say. Okay. And I can run it from here. I can say stop the server, start the server, and it already knows where they are. Now, in my case, to be in real production environment, I would have to open IntelliJ. There you are. So nothing is super easy. I have to keep many things in mind. I have to run IntelliJ here. It was starting here. So I can do that, and then I can start. Well, I also need to start developer services, but at least it will probably start. So I'm starting the actual application in my favorite application for Java. That's IntelliJ. It should start, but at the same time, I'm fixing it. I'm saying I don't know how it does it, but I'm fixing it in anti-gravity. Okay, that's my application that I'm working on. And then I can say something, user administration doesn't work. Could you add another user? Or how to change the password? That I will ask within anti-gravity. Here I am, add capability to change the password for the user, okay? And it will start working. There is only one thing beyond just knowing what you're doing and learning about this. There is one more thing. Don't leave it unattended. I had left it unattended once, like yesterday, and it started working. And it started changing the code. But the problem was I opened it on another project. So I said, start the server. It created the server. That other project didn't even have any server. So it was smart enough to misunderstand me and work on another project. And what it did is a lot of code changes. So that's what I would recommend. Look at your Git situation. Where am I? Nothing new. Now that you tell it, do this, be ready to just roll it back. That's what your Git is for. I hope that answered your question. So I'm going back to chat to verify. So Jim, you're saying I use the AI in the career exploration. Yes, you know, that is almost an answer to the question just before. The question was, how do I find a job? Well, number one, we'll talk about this because it's a combination, it's a partnership, you and AI, or me and you and AI, right? But treat it seriously, treat it, how do I find a job? Ask the question, start that. And I think that is what Jim Henson is saying. And he even gives a link. Let's do this. First of all, let us open the link that he gives us because very helpful AI, they store your conversation. So I expect I will be able to open it right here. Okay, let's try. No, not quite. So let's not improvise. Yeah, you do need, yeah, okay. You need to give me more information. That's it. But I'll tell you my story. So I was working on a certain book, which I will show you in a minute. And I needed a picture for that book. So my colleague, he created a picture with the Gemini. Was nice picture, but it wasn't a robot. It was very clear that it's AI. My daughter created one and I liked it more. And what I want to say is that when I asked my friend, how did you do it? He gave me the complete conversation with AI. So he worked with Gemini. He gave me the conversation and the result. That's what I was asking him. Now I will show you the book. That will be the last thing I will show you. And in that book, I'm talking about security, cybersecurity for AI. I asked my daughter to create a picture. That's the picture she created. My daughter is wonderful. She earns a living by being one of the things a painter, and you'll be surprised. It's not Da Vinci, right? It's she's not learning. Sorry to say that she's not learning to become a better painter, but she's very recognizable. It's just her style saying to the world, "I am not going to learn how to draw, but I already have a style." Now I'll show you what style AI did, and that will be the last thing. The AI did this recent project, writing this book. I hope I'll get to the right book. If not, I'll show you. Oh, I know how to do it. I'm already there. Okay. Where I was showing you the picture. The book is open sourced. Now, deep hidden secret is that I was writing it for a publishing house, but I was too slow and they canceled it. But it's better. So I made it open source and it will be open for anybody. I should just continue writing. And in the pictures here, we have other pictures. So where are they? I can probably ask AI to say where are my pictures. That's where they are anyway. And well, that's her picture. I'll show you AI picture later, especially when I find the place to put it. All right. It was improvised, but it was very much not AI and real stuff. So let's look at the question one last time. All right. And I'll collect your feedback. I will address it in the next session. Thank you, everybody, for coming. And I wish you a great week and a great year to come. And thank you for those reactions.